Whoa, you guys seeing this? So inside the oven has been eternal damnation this whole time. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. Oh, and some of you seem to express concern that I was sticking my head into an oven, but don't worry, I'm not actually made out of pie. Nope, just fragile, tasty human flesh. But enough about me. I lost my mind. Sorry, I meant enough about me, comma, I lost my mind. As in, that's the name of the episode we're going to be talking about today. After months of waiting, iCarly fans were treated to this episode to follow up the shocking kiss at the end of IOMG. So how did Sam react to kissing Freddie? Well, she locks herself in a mental institution and doesn't tell anyone where she even went, which in and of itself is kind of an interesting premise, I guess, and could make for a decent episode. But the problem is, Carly, as well as the show itself, keep trying to prove that Sam and Freddie are a great couple that we should all want to root for. I can buy Sam locking herself up and its wacky shenanigans, sure, whatever, but it's not gonna work at all if you're still trying to tell me that these two characters actually belong together. Anyway, the recap of the episode is this. Sam locks herself in the mental institution and she isn't allowed to leave without parent consent. Unfortunately for Sam, her mom is played by a guest star, so she won't be showing up anytime soon. Spencer tries to impersonate Sam's mom, but that doesn't go very well, so she's stuck there. Freddie tries to use this as an opportunity to talk with her about the kiss, but that also doesn't go very well. Eventually, everyone just decides to do the iCarly webcast from the mental institution, and the people running the place go along with it for pretty stupid reasons. Carly uses the web show as an opportunity to peer pressure Sam into to show Sam that she isn't crazy for liking Freddie. Also, the guy from the Big Bang Theory is here as a mental patient. The story ends without Sam ever leaving the place, but hey, who cares? Sam and Freddie kiss. The actual content of the episode here is very weak. It pretty much exclusively relies on shock value. The characters fail miserably at everything they do and only get their way through sheer luck. They fail to rescue Sam, and the only way they get to even do iCarly is because some big burly patient guy knows some secret about a guard, which seems really gross even in context. But yeah, once again, we have a story that feels severely underdeveloped, and an episode where it feels like nothing much actually happens in it. But who cares? Sam and Freddie kiss at the end. Yes, they legit ended the episode on the same exact note 2 episodes in a row. We get another kiss with no closure. Sam does not escape the hospital, and we learn nothing about why these characters even remotely like each other. That may have been fine for IOMG, because there wouldn't have been a twist had Sam actually been open about her feelings in the first place. But this episode should have actually had the characters sit down and discuss how they feel. Freddie tries to talk to Sam about the kiss, but Sam throws a temper tantrum and refuses. Yeah, it's Sam's shtick to be abrasive and childish, but that's not gonna fly if you want me to like these characters as a couple. And the fact that she still is acting like this in the very episode that they get together in is really gross. If you would rather claim to be mentally ill and lock yourself away than actually talk about your feelings, you are sure as heck not ready for a relationship and are more than likely not actually pretending to be mentally ill. And what about poor Freddie? Why did he even agree to date her? Is she just that good a kisser? Or is Freddie as incredibly shallow as Carly? I mean, it basically has to be one of those options because there's nothing else about Sam that could possibly be attractive to Freddie. The episode even goes out of its way to point out how this whole thing has been about how Sam likes Freddie and how no one ever asks Freddie how he feels about it. Like, Freddie literally brings this up at the end. He has a great point here, but instead of actually standing his ground and saying no, he doesn't want to date his bully, he just kisses her. Where's the actual romance? Where's any reason why these characters should be together? This whole story arc is written from the perspective of a 5-year-old who doesn't actually understand what romance or relationships are. They think that it's just picking on someone and kissing a lot. I really can't believe this was written by adults. Perhaps the craziest thing of all about this episode is that the show actually had a chance here to make Sam and Freddie's relationship not be completely horrible and uncomfortable. Hear me out. If Sam actually agreed to stay at the mental facility, even for just like another month or something, and continued to go to therapy and work on her anger issues and mood swings, and then come out and date Freddie in the next episode, that would make me not as disgusted with the relationship. It could have also been an in-universe way to tone Sam's harsher edges down, and something romantic, like Sam caring about Freddie so much that she's willing to actually sit down and try to solve some of her problems. But no, instead of being serious for 5 minutes, our introduction to the idea of Sam and Freddie being in a relationship has to be a cartoony and childish, OMG you guys, I must be crazy for liking him. It's actually weirdly common to see these shows put characters in situations they'd legit deserve, but then try to frame it in the pretense that it's some wacky misunderstanding and not just like legit something the character should actually be doing. Sam putting herself in the mental institution is played for laughs, but honestly, the plays could do her a lot of good. Another thing weirdly common about these shows is that they have a tendency to give off unintentional implications. And I'm not even talking about the mental facility stuff. No, I'm talking about what Carly did here with the web show. I joked about it before, but the idea here was that Carly was going to use the iCarly fans to show Sam that her feelings are normal. But the episode comes off as if Carly is using their fan base to manipulate Sam into a relationship that she is not ready for. And what makes this even worse is that this happens after I start a fan war. Carly should know better by this point. All she's doing is involving strangers into their personal lives and setting them up for a huge disappointment when Sam and Freddie inevitably break up. Although, it's not like we ever actually get to see iCarly fans react to the breakup. Yeah, seriously, the web show takes a huge backseat during this arc, and it's annoying because after iFan War, there's actually a lot of potential for drama involving fans of the web show invading upon their real life. But more on that wasted potential in another video. At the point in the episode that Carly is putting together her little fan appreciation of Seddie, Carly doesn't even know if Freddie feels the same way about Sam. So Carly could be setting Sam up for the biggest embarrassment of all time when Freddie rejects her on camera. And her whole point about using the iCarly fans to show Sam that she's normal doesn't even make any sense anyway. Just because a bunch of lunatics on the internet think that you should do something does not make it a healthy, normal, or right thing for you to do. And on a mildly different note, I don't really understand how this web show even has fans, considering how many of their web shows are just the iCarly crew using the fans for their own selfish needs with no actual entertainment value. This is how the webcast goes in the episode. They intro iCarly, Gibby comes in saying he's gonna do something weird with food, and then Carly's like, actually, you're gonna have to do that later because I have something special prepared. She shows people reacting to Seddie, Freddie gives his little confession, and then the two of them kiss. And then Carly signs out. So I guess that was the whole web show? Just 5 minutes of people saying, yeah, you should date, and then watching Sam and Freddie kiss? Poor Gibby doesn't even get to do his bit. And part of the conflict in this episode was being able to do iCarly at all, and yet this is all they had to present? No comedy, no fun? I mean, aren't you glad they miraculously were able to do the web show? What would the children of this world do without that 5 minutes of amazing content? Oh, and I'm sure they got permission from all those mentally ill people's families before broadcasting them and their illness all over the internet. How respectful of them. In terms of the mental hospital stuff, it was just kind of dumb fluff. There's a whole section where it's the guy from the Big Bang Theory talking about how he's from the future and he's got magical pants or something. It's not funny, but it's just kind of alright. Same with Spencer dressing up as Sam's mom. I could see some people getting a kick out of it, but it's kind of cheap humor. I'll be honest that I thought that the episode was going to be a bit more offensive than it was, but it isn't really anything bad in that respect. Sure, maybe they're not the most respectful of the mentally ill, but it definitely could have been a lot worse. Also, there's this part where Gibby tackles the woman at the front desk, which is supposed to be funny, but ends up just being awful because this woman is completely innocent. They didn't even bother trying to make her nasty or something to quote-unquote deserve the treatment Gibby gave her. Nope, she just gets assaulted out of the blue. And then later, the cop doesn't even believe her. Oh, and keeping with the tradition that every Seddie episode has to have at least one really memorable exchange, the security guard asks Sam where her father is, and Sam says, "You tell me," which is definitely the best joke of the episode. This episode feels like it could have been a normal iCarly episode, but then the Seddie stuff took it over, and basically what you have is something that's unsatisfying for someone who's watching it for Seddie, because there's all this other stuff about the mental hospital that just kind of goes nowhere, and then is also unsatisfying if you're watching it for the mental hospital storyline, because it doesn't really have too much of a conclusion, and the characters really don't succeed at anything. It does a terrible job at setting up the Seddie romance, but it is nothing compared to the next 2 episodes in the Seddie arc. Yikes, that wedding cake has been burned and melted to a crisp. Whoa, 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 no, no! Oh man, it's the cake that won't die. Next time on The Bottom of the Bakery, we talk about I Date Sam and Freddie, and we really get into how miserable the Seddie arc is. PIEGUYRULZ, out.